Hello everyone, I'm Broughy1322 and welcome to episode 83 of the Choking Hazard podcast. We got a lot to talk about in this one. This video is supported by ExpressVPN. This is the VPN service that I use and recommend to get around location restrictions for video streaming services or GTA Online. Use the link in the description to get 3 months free on a 12-month plan. With my usual co-hosts, Nos is over there trying to count on his fingers.
Hello, here I am.
Josh down there.
Hello.
We got Hammer in the booth.
Hello.
And RDT is obviously not here. I mean, we could have done this on multiple days, and I'm pretty sure we said that we would do it on today so that RDT could be here, and of course, he has plans.
Yep.
So, nevertheless, we have a lot to talk about because the last podcast we did, we were talking about 5M being bought by Rockstar. So we didn't really get to talk about anything since the last 2 months. We got 2 months of stuff to catch up on. The first thing, so we're gonna rifle through some topics. The first thing being that we're currently at the very end of my stream week, and Josh's own stream week was it last week?
No,
2 weeks ago.
Before that, it's 2 weeks ago. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's been a stressful week. That so much has happened that has caused like extra added stress that it didn't need to be. I originally planned this stream week to be that it was planning to end on that big G Fred. So 2 weeks ago, probably the same time as yours, mid-September, and then Twitch changed their whole. You know, the gift subs promotion, 25% off was the final week of the month. So I thought, okay, well, I'll move the stream week there instead. But then there's been a lot of other stuff that just happened during this week to make everything so much worse. I planned a pizza making stream for the Tuesday, and my oven broke. And I forgot that the oven had broken until the Monday at the end of that stream. So I had to find an oven and get it installed on the Monday night. What else was there? It's just like, oh yeah, Zexy started back up with her final year of uni. So on Thursday and Friday, I've been waking up at 5 a.m. which has just made the rest of the day so tiring. We booked a show to go to the theater on Thursday night. So that was like getting up at 5 a.m., going to bed late, and then getting up at 5 a.m. on Friday. It's been a week. It's been a really tiring week. I think I feel as fresh as I have done all week right now after having like 24 hours of just nothing since yesterday's stream. But yeah, we're here. This is the second last day. I'm about to, at the end of this podcast, I'm going to be continuing my stream and doing solo G-Fred world record attempts, doing a bit of speed running. And then, yeah, big stream tomorrow to finish it off. But then I'll be karting on the morning tomorrow as well. So there's literally like just everything all at once is you know, and it's because I moved the stream week to this week. All of this would have happened at different times of the month, but it's all happened at the same time. So, but yeah, it's been a fun week, and we've had some really great streams from it, I think, and people have really enjoyed it. So, how did yours go, Josh?
But before I do that, I had a question of yours.
Okay.
Your YouTube content, do you like pre-schedule it for that week then? Or do you still editing and stuff during this week?
So my initial plan was to not upload anything during that week.
Okay, all right.
But then there's stuff that happens during the week that I try to get like a little early start of editing on it or get it prepared or something. But yeah, I during these stream weeks, I tried to treat it as like, this is what it would be like to be a full-time streamer, where I'm not editing videos or doing anything else other than streaming, which I've had a taste of the last 2 days, I would say. Especially at the end of yesterday's stream, I just stopped and I haven't started again until preparing for this stream. But most of the other days, I've been doing other stuff as well. So yeah, it never, there's always other stuff to do. So it's been a busy week and a tiring week. But as always, every year it's always fun.
Yeah. That's the sentiments I have with my Josh Done Quick as well. So my stream week is like I frame it as a speedrun marathon, which makes sense. So I have like I use a speedrun marathon making tool, schedule making tool. Sorry. So I make a little schedule. I have like a list of games I'm going to do, exact times of estimates and stuff like that, and I just do a bunch of speedruns for 5 days. But the thing is, mine is like 12-hour long streams. Like, let me get on my schedule. So like if I go Josh Done Quick 23, each day is 12 hours long. So I have like, I do a run and then I have a 20-minute break, and then I'll do another run and then I'll have a 20-minute break, and then I'll do like a 9-hour long run, and then I'll go to bed or whatever. So I do 12 hours on, and then those other 12 hours I'm not live, I do a rerun of the prior 12 hours. So it's essentially, it's like there's a 24-hour, speedrun marathon happening.
How many days is that? Is that 5 or 7 days?
It's 5 days.
5 days of 12 hours each day.
Yeah. It used to be 7. But the problem is, once you do that many speedruns, you kind of start running out of speedruns to do. So the original one was 7 days, but in the middle of it, I did like less, like, speed, like GTA speedruns. I did like more, I don't know, like Pokemon that I barely knew, and Blur and Crash Team Racing and stuff like that. Things people care less about, right?
Yeah.
So it made the marathon like 2 days longer, but the 2 days in the middle, essentially nothing happened. Like, everyone wasn't there at all. So I focused it a bit more, made it 5 days for the second one, and it's been like that ever since. And this one was the 5th one, so yeah. But I moved mine. I normally did mine in August because my birthday was in August, so I like did it on my birthday as like a birthday stream thing. But this year I decided to move it as an experiment to September for the September thing. And I did what you did. I moved it to September. September. I keep saying September. September.
Twitch brain.
Then Twitch announced it was only going to be gift subs for the last week or whatever of September, and I decided not to move mine. And I think that was actually a good decision to keep it in the middle of September, because I feel like everyone under the sun is doing some special thing at the end of September.
Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah.
So I got plenty of gift subs and stuff regardless. I think it was fine. But yeah, I moved mine in September because I also wanted to try to get the Twitch Partner Plus thing, which I don't remember if we talked about before.
Yeah, I think we did when they announced it.
Right, okay.
It's been a while, though.
Yeah, so originally with that Twitch Plus thing, you needed 350 subs 3 months in a row in order to get it. And my first month, July, I think it was, that they started counting it, I only had like 340 subs or 30. I barely missed it. It was really sad. And then in August, I barely missed it as well. But then they changed the rules. They made it sub points instead of sub, like, raw subs.
Yeah.
So tier 3 and tier 2 counted more. And then it just barely pushed me over the edge for those 2 months. So I was like, okay, I'll use Josh Done Quick to make sure I get it the 3rd month. And yeah, I hit it. I'm a partner plus now.
Has it officially happened now? Has it gone through and everything? So you'll get 70/30 on your next payment, or?
So what they made a little page for it, thankfully. What will happen now is that I can't actually find the page, but whatever. So starting next month for 12 months, I'll get 70/30 on subs and stuff. But if I ever have another 3-month concurring months in a row where I get 350 sub points or more, it will add on. Like, it'll start
Extend
the 12 months
the 12
from there.
months again.
Yeah. So.
See, this is what, like, my stream week. It's funny because my original stream week back in 2017 was to get onto the 70/30. It was I was told that if I get 500 subs, and this was before gift subs and prime subs or anything, I think. So I was told if I got 500 subs,
that's when it was real.
I'd be able to get on the 70/30. So that's why I did the original stream week back then, and since then I've just done it every year as like a tradition because that first one was successful to get me on that 70/30. So I've been on that since then, and it is a big like jump. Like you know, you're just getting an extra 20% money.
Yeah,
the first payment of the extra money is like wow.
Yeah, it's like that. That's why I really wanted to push for it, and I tried to get my community to help because it's more money that they don't have to give me. Like I'm just taking it from Amazon, right? Like it's better. I didn't realize you had 70/30. You were one of those guys.
I was one of those. I thought we talked about it when we talked about it on the podcast, but maybe.
Maybe. No, I've always had 50/50, and I've been here for years. Twitch just doesn't talk to me. I don't have a Twitch rep. I don't have anything. They never speak to me.
I mean, I don't now, but I did at one time. But yeah, it was. I mean, it because now I feel like I think I was in the same position as you when they initially announced it. I counted the amount of subs I had, like non-prime or gift subs, and it was like 347 or something like that. And I just thought, I wonder how many current 70/30 they have that are going to actually drop out of it because of this program, rather than the amount that are actually going to get it. I feel like maybe they might even not be worse off from it. The amount of people who drop out for having like say 250 subs, that's money that they're not going to have to pay now, and it might balance out the money that they're going to have to pay to new people. But that's Twitch these days, isn't it? There's always some sort of ulterior motive going on. But congrats that you got it.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, it's like I found the page. I've got a nice green tick next to July. I got 367 out of 350. And then August, I got 385. And then this month, funnily enough, I don't have a tick next to it yet because I guess this month's not over yet. But it's 574.
So I think you're totally fine then.
Man, that's awesome.
Yeah. So well, hopefully that'll help out. So I think moving Josh on Quick to September, especially this year, worked out.
Yeah,
I'll decide what happens next year. But it was nice to actually have a birthday as well, where I didn't have to work.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, I mean, having to do that on your birthday every year, it was stressful for a birthday week. All right. Well, you might as well continue then and talk about your bad couple of things that are listed in the document. We've got a long list of things in the document this week, by the way. There's so many.
A lot of them are me, and that's why I'm being quiet.
Yeah, document is huge. Yeah, so I had last month in the time we didn't have a podcast, I thought it was going to be a rough month, but thinking back at it, it was just two big bad things that happened, but with other good stuff. So I'll just call it a couple bad things. First of all, my car that I got, the very first car I've ever had, my Honda Civic hatchback, not the American sedan, if you start Googling it.
That's what
we have hatchback Civics in the US.
Yeah,
but okay, well, whenever I search Honda Civic, I always get the sedan, and everyone I tell on the internet assumes the sedan. Anyway, whatever, the hatchback, the UFO looking thing.
Yeah, every time I had, because I had the same car as you before this one, and every time I would say I have a Civic, like, I think that a lot of people just assumed it was the sedan American version. And it's just
the ugly one. It's not ugly. I like it. Anyway, I got it MOT'd because the MOT was finally due in August. So I got that done. I'd never done it before.
Is that like emissions and like safety inspection?
Yes,
or
of course.
Yeah.
So
there are no regulations where I live.
Is that right? Really?
None.
I'll explain it this way. Okay, so every to have your car on the road, you need to have it like registered and taxed with the government or whatever. And depending on how new the car is, you need to take the car in for a government mandated check with a mechanic.
Yeah. This is tyranny.
Did Broughy's OBS die, or is that just?
No, I've just stopped it because it's still we're still streaming everything. I'm having encoding overloaded, so I'm just not going to be. You're not going to see me. That's all.
I'll keep talking. That's fine. So for me with my like 2008 model year car, I need to have a check every year. to check the car is roadworthy and is meeting emissions and all this good stuff. So.
This is tyrannical. This is tyrannical bureaucracy choking the life of the common man.
I can't believe you don't have something like
vehicles.
that.
If you buy like a new car, is it like 5 years you get until you need to get it checked or something? Anyway, it's called an MOT because it stands for Ministry of Transport.
I literally just looked that up because I didn't know.
Oh yeah.
It's the Military of Transport Test.
Yes, that's it. Yes. MOT test. That's right. That's what it's called. So anyway, it's shorthand for MOT. So I took it in for an MOT, but it was the first car I ever bought. It was the cheapest Honda Civic I could find. I was very, very well expecting to just write the car off. Like I take it in, they go, "Oh yeah, that shit's fucked, mate," and then I just can't get it. It'll cost.
Usually,
more
if it's driving though, you're normally all right. Like if you can drive it to the MOT center, you're doing all right.
Fair enough.
Yeah, I mean, especially as long as. I mean, I don't know what rust is like on cars up there, but probably pretty bad. And I would assume your emissions would be fine if you have a working catalytic converter. So I don't know what would they fail you on.
I'll put a link in choke chat. It might have personal details, so maybe don't show it on stream. But maybe you could show the pictures if you did it full screen or something. But
at the very least we can look at it.
Yeah. So this is like I took it to the MOT place and they gave me this page.
Goodness me.
Anyway, I took it for the MOT and
yep. Your tire's worn. You got a little bit of dry rot there. That's not good.
Yeah. So I needed 4 new tires. All 4 of them were buggered.
Yeah.
I had to replace all 4 of them.
What was the date? Okay. What was the date code on your tires? Do you have any clue?
No clue. I don't know.
Okay.
But I had to replace all 4 of those. But that was like I bought this car because with the MOT tests, you can go back and look at the history of a car and look at all of its previous MOTs.
Do you need calipers and rotors all the way around?
Hang on, Nuts, we'll get in there.
Sorry,
I'm not going to show
looking
these
at the
images
photos,
just
and I can tell you that you
to,
need these things.
I can't really go full screen on it, so I'll just...
Fair enough, okay. Well, whatever. It's all rust.
Yeah, basically there's photos of rusty car segments and tires.
Yeah, so I bought this car because you can look at the history of MOT tests on the website, on the government's website. So you can see like, oh, this car had broken suspension like 17 every single time it's come in. They've had to replace this thing and it's broken. And I looked at so many minis that were like just totally broken. But this car, the only thing this car has ever needed. Oh, lovely. Muted on stream. Okay. The only God, it's hard to think for that. The only thing this car's ever needed has been tires and lights, I think, and I look at the history of it. So this car was doing all right. It was functioning. It never it had people looking after it when it they at least fixed the car before they took it in for the MOT, which is still better than most people, I guess. So yeah, needing to replace all 4 tires was a bit of a shock, but anyway, that was fine. That was all the legal requirement stuff, and I had a headlight out apparently. But the guy at the shop was just like, yeah, you're going to pass the MOT, but you might want to do something about this massive list of things.
Yeah, because there's 2 aspects to an MOT. There's like failures, which means you have to get it fixed, and then there's advisories, which you should get fixed because if you don't sort them out, they're probably going to become a failure at the next year's MOT or even earlier or something like that.
Did what's this guy's name? Danny? That's the manager's name. Did they recommend that you get an alignment too? It looks like your tread wear is
right. That was
uneven.
Yeah, so I also got an alignment. Yeah. I that was right. I took it for an MOT and service at the same time. So when they put the wheels on, they did an alignment. I had like oil change. The petrol tank was cleaned with something that makes it less emissive or something. I don't quite remember. I don't quite remember all the things I had done to it. But yeah, the wheel was not straight when I was driving the car before. I had known that.
Yeah, you can tell this because you've got 2 tires that are 3 tires that are similar worn, and then you have one where the cords are visible on one. So if your tires are wearing at an uneven rate, that's a big clue as to
You can tell from Noss's expression that he's really in his element.
Well, I mean, it's just. I mean, I've bought a few cars, and I know some stuff to look for. But this is.
Yeah.
I mean, so you needed tires. Did they advise you do brake pads and rotors all the way around?
Yeah. I'll if you scroll down from the pictures all the way to the bottom of the page, there's like a list of things that they suggested.
Oh shit! They did my work for me. Okay.
Yeah. I enjoyed you doing it as well, though, to double check, so I know they're not just trying to sell me crap. Yeah, it was the battery is buggered, which I knew that already because like when I first got the car.
Yeah, there's no telling what the damn date code on that thing is. I couldn't. I looked in the photos, but I couldn't see it. Usually in I don't know if y'all do it here, but there's usually a sticker on it that tells you the date that it was installed.
Yeah, it's ancient. I can replace that though.
You had 7 failures, for them being the tires, obviously, and 17 advisories.
Yes, exactly.
I've never had that many.
I was like, oh, so they're not MOT advisories.
All right,
that's not on my MOT record. This is just like the company's.
It's quick fit advisories.
Yeah. So, but yeah, they want the petrol fuel filler, pollen filter, spark plugs, gearbox oil. The weirdest thing they said was one of the things I did in my service was I got a new air filter because it was like a cheap thing to do or whatever.
Yeah, you want to do a cabin air filter every few services.
Yeah, so I thought I got one of those. But the thing is, I don't know if you can see in the picture on picture 14 of 19, but the default air filter is inside the car but is not connected, and it's being bypassed or something and put into a sport filter, which is ancient. So I have 2 air filters under my hood. One of them is new and the default non-sport one, and is doing nothing, and the other one is like.
Your first mistake was taking it to quick fit.
Well, sure, but I can't remember. But they were like, "Yeah, we put your new air filter in, but we're not sure it's being used or not." And I'm like, "What?" I'd have to go under the car and take a picture. Maybe that 14 doesn't show it.
Yeah, I'm having a hard time understanding.
Yeah, I don't think it's in this picture, maybe. But the guy showed me, and he there's like a secondary like pipe going from the filter thing, and it bypasses the other one. To just so someone at some point added a sport air filter to the car.
you got you the hot air intake, the cold air intake.
left the old filter in. So Quick Fit thankfully replaced the filter that does nothing. So I was like, "Cheers, that's great." But yeah, there's just a bunch of stuff that needs doing to the car basically. But the car still runs, and so I was a mix of pleasantly surprised that I passed my first MOT with only 5 things, like 4 tires and a light. But then also like oh shit, I'm gonna have to actually do maintenance to this to keep it going. So yeah, I'm not sure if it's I don't know how much of this is difficult or if it's worth continuing to do this, because the car's quite old, right?
Well, I mean, you're big. I mean, my car, and also someone said I cannot be a mechanic. I could be a service advisor. I could not be a mechanic. But I mean, you said you got tires in alignment. That was probably your biggest concern, because if you get, if your tires are unsafe, you could have a blowout, or you could, if they're too slick, you could hydroplane.
Yes, there's a minimum trip depth and stuff that you have to apply to.
Your battery, I mean, it's not a safety thing. It's just you'll go outside one day and it won't crank up, and then it'll be that one day you really needed it to. What about, do you have air conditioning in your car?
Yeah, no, the air conditioning doesn't work. That's one of the things they say.
Okay, no. Just hold the L on that one. I wouldn't even bother.
Yeah.
I'd roll the windows down and be a man.
I actually, I got the AC fixed on, because I had the same car as you, and my AC didn't work, and then I got a guy out to refill it with the coolant, and he said, "Oh, the coolant's actually fine, but it's the radiator that needs replacing." So then I got that replaced, and that was fine. And then I had AC for about 2 years, and then the motor died. So that was just before that was one of the final things that was like, okay, I'm just going to get a new car. Because there was multiple things at that point that I was sick of. So the AC stuff, unless you're there was a couple of days where it was really, really hot and I wish I'd had AC. But most of the time, you probably won't need to worry about it.
Yeah. So I can skip that.
Plus, it can be expensive if you've got multiple things go wrong.
The things I would advise, like you would need to do some research yourself onto whether you should or not. But if they say something like, "Oh, we need to do a transmission fluid flush," because it is a manual, right?
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah, I would do some research on as to whether that's actually advised or not. Because I've heard some horror stories of like, oh, well, I got my transmission fluid flushed, and then all the metal that was in there just got swirled around, and then my transmission died. So,
Right, yeah,
like,
yeah.
I would, that I've always been real scared of transmissions, basically.
Yeah, that wasn't necessary. That's
Yeah,
on their list.
If you got it,
Yeah,
you
I
got it
just see that
serviced and
attention.
stuff. Like you would have had the basics done through the service. Like
Yeah, I'm just looking at the attention soon. I'm trying to predict what they would tell you to do.
Yeah.
I also see a photo of your cat here with some kind of rust on it. I would cling to this cat for dear life for as long as you possibly can because they are so expensive.
Right. Okay.
Until
what is
a
that?
government agent tracks you down and tells you to change your catalytic converter, I would cling to this.
Wait,
So
what picture is that?
I think that's your cat, or am I just stupid?
I have no idea what a catalytic converter is. so
Picture 18 of 19.
Oh, okay. I would say that's exhaust. I don't know, but
Well,
if you
the
say
catalytic converter is part of your exhaust.
Oh, okay.
It's what takes. So down here, we just cut that off and then sell that at a scrapyard because it's very expensive, and then our car's really loud.
I see.
But over there and in other states where you have to pass an emissions check, you need a catalytic converter. It basically it makes your exhaust not as toxic.
Yeah, okay.
That's the point of it.
That's definitely a legal requirement then, surely.
Yeah, of course. Yeah, so
I think brake stuff is like anything that needs doing. Like brakes would be the most important thing.
I have had some moments where I'm on the motorway and then like I need to come to a very sudden stop because there's traffic or something, and the brakes, oh boy, they don't do a lot.
I'm sure your calipers are all bad, not great. Your rotors, that's definitely due.
Anything that's
due
key
for
to the
service.
actual driving experience, the things that you're gonna actually touch to control the car. The other stuff like AC and whatnot, you don't need to worry about if it's not bothering you.
Sure. Okay. All right. Then fine. So brakes are the main thing. Okay. So yeah, this is what I was thinking. Just having like someone who actually knows reassure me is good. Yeah. Okay. Cool.
Yeah, I would definitely advise you get your brakes, like get rotors and pads all the way around, and then just as long as you make sure that you keep it serviced and you actually change your brake pads whenever they need to be changed, you'll be good for a extended period.
All right. Okay.
I would
Cool.
say.
Well, to add on to this story, I think it was 1 or 2 days after the MOT, I drove back to my hometown, Portsmouth, to play board games with my friends. At the end, I walked back to my car, and my passenger side mirror was hanging off.
Oh yeah, I remember that.
Yeah, someone had and that was on the road, the pavement side, so it wasn't like a car drove past and accidentally hit my mirror, and I was the only one in the entire row, but my mirror was just kicked in or something. Or
it was a person. That exact same thing has happened to me on that exact same side, the passenger side by the pavement. I'm pretty sure it was my neighbor.
So I had to get my brother, who was the only one in town at that point, to drive out. Like, I woke him up, rang because he was sleeping or whatever. He drove out with some parcel tape because it was the only thing in the house.
I did the same thing. I taped it up with gaffer tape.
Yeah, we taped the mirror up just so I could get back to Bournemouth. But down the motorway, I was driving so slowly, always on the left in case my mirror flew off. Because if I'm driving in the center lane and my mirror flies off, I won't be able to look to the left to know if I can pull out or not.
Yeah.
So I had to. So right now, I haven't, and ever since then, I haven't really touched the car. It's just sat on the road with all of these brakes, all these things they do to it. The mirror is held on with brown gaffer tape.
Well,
we are having the same experience. You're just like a few years after me. Like same car, same issues.
Well, surely I don't know what y'all do with junk cars over there, but I'm sure you could go to a junkyard and find a color-matched mirror.
Yeah, that's what I did. I bought
don't even need color matched because the trim on my mirror is perfectly fine and it's removable. I looked all this up. I
Okay,
can
good.
I can find any old mirror and I can just take the trim off mine, plop it on the new one, and it'll be the same color.
How many miles are on this car?
Over 10,000.
Over
What?
10,000. It's got
No.
over 100,000, surely.
Sorry, yeah, that number, the big number. It's a big number.
Oh.
Okay.
100,000, yeah, sorry.
Something that I don't know how many miles you drive. I mean, the island you live on is like 5 by 5 miles wide, so you can't be driving that long. But I see here that your engine oil replacement like schedule, like what they would have you do is 12,000 miles or 12 months. I could not live in this reality. I mean, it's not like engines are just different over there. I mean, I would truly think about it like every 6 months, 4,000 miles or so. Just get your oil changed. That's what I would do personally, especially. I mean, because I know cars don't last as long over there, but I mean, there's no difference in Hondas just because of an ocean. Like I would definitely up that interval for oil changes, and then like I said, especially given I don't know if your car uses, even if your car uses fully synthetic oil, 12,500 miles is still way too long. That's way too long. But if if the car uses conventional regular oil, that's like astronomically too long. So yeah, I would think about doing every 6 months, 4,000 miles or so, whichever comes first.
Okay. So change that more. All right,
I got 100,000 miles is when I started to have the issues with my Civic that I thought, okay, it's not worth keeping at this point.
Well, I mean, to tell you the truth, if you people over there are like cavemen changing your oil every 12,000 miles, it's no wonder your engines explode after 100,000 miles. So, but yeah, that would be.
Dinmite asked about the neighbor issues. This is back in Hartlepool. My old neighbor had was having like a party, I think, with a lot of lads, and then the next morning he knocked on my door and said, "Oh, have you noticed that your wing mirror's being kicked in or whatever?" I was like, "Oh no!" And then afterwards, I thought, "Do you know what? Probably him or one of his friends."
Yeah.
Classic Hartlepool.
Yeah, but to maybe I don't know, maybe ease your fears or whatnot. I mean, this may look like a bunch of scary pictures, but like you've got a damn fine car. I'm gonna be honest with you. So like especially over here. I mean, over here, 100,000 mile Civic, which is this is like a $7,000 car.
Right. Okay. Right.
So like this would be a nice like I would buy your car. To tell you the truth. So
yeah, to be fair, if the good thing about the Civics is that around 100,000 things will just naturally start to run out of they've lasted 100,000 miles and they will need replacing. But the good thing about them is that if you get those things replaced, it will just keep running and running and running. Like they are quite good on that way.
And another thing to think about too is on vehicles that you have like actual mechanical issues, and then you have wear items, right? So wear items would be your like a tire, or brake pads and brake calipers, or like a clutch. I would consider to be a wear item. Like you want to, if you're taking care of your car properly and you're lucky, you're only replacing wear items. Now you may take it to the shop and you have like every wear item is up to be replaced, but that's what you want basically, because you don't want to go in and there's like some clanking coming from your engine and it's low of oil and your oil pressure's bad, stuff like that. You don't want that.
Okay. All right, well, good then. I'll continue keeping the car.
Calipers aren't wear items. Well, they are if you don't replace your brake pads.
So what? That's one mode of transport that you've had to deal with. Give us the story on the other one.
Yeah. So then, the couple of things. That's right. So the couple of things that happened that month. So my car The MOT was like better than expected, but also kind of worse. Then my mirror got kicked in. Then a bit later, so I don't know how much I've talked about this before, but I have a bike, like a racing road gravel bike thing that I bought. It was like the most expensive thing I'd ever bought back in like 2021.
I remember when you told us about that on an earlier episode.
Yeah, and that was like, and that after I've had that bike for since then I've worked on it loads. All the stuff I would have added to the car, the bike, I think the bike is worth more than my car. All the wheels and all the mirrors and all that stuff I put on it. Well, anyway, woke up. I came to my house one day, and the bike was stolen from my garden, which is like insane that someone has. It's difficult to explain without doxing myself, but my garden is not easily accessible to public in any way, right?
Like you've specifically been targeted. Someone's seen you riding a bike or something, and
it's not like I have a fence that's next to a road that you could just hop over the fence and be in my garden from a public place. Like it's nuts. So I've either been specifically targeted or the something has happened. I don't know what, but my bike was just gone from my garden, and I was like absolutely devastated because I've had that bike for ages, and it was like super expensive, but that was okay because I had insurance on it for specifically this reason. So I was like, oh, that'll be all right.
Insurance, wow,
welcome
insane.
to England. Welcome to England, right? But it was like the sentimental value or whatever, right? That was like when
have you looked like on eBay for it or something like that?
Oh yeah. Every single day I'm checking eBay, Gumtree, Facebook Marketplace, all that stuff. I contacted every single secondhand shop in the entire city. I told the police, but all of it has come up nothing. And the worst part of all of it is that my insurance won't pay out for it in the end.
Oh my god.
Yeah, after all that, years I had that bike insurance for exactly the bike school reason. But
what's their grounds for not covering insurance?
I don't know if their terms changed or something, or the thing is when I first got the insurance I still lived in a flat. But apparently because the bike is not in a building of some kind, they won't pay out for it.
What is the point with insurance? Like, insurance is the most like, oh my god, that's so annoying.
Like, when I read that, I was like, what the fuck am I paying you for, right? Like, if the bike gets stolen from inside my house, then I think I'd have bigger problems. Like at that point,
insurance is almost like a scam. I mean, my shower broke.
It is a scam,
and I called up the home insurance, and they sent someone over to have a look at it. But it would have been £300 that I had to pay them excess just to have the thing done, and it probably would have cost less to fix it in the first place. Like, it is the only insurance that I've ever experienced where it was actually useful to have has been pet insurance for like Summer's issues recently. Like it's been very helpful to have it. It's not that expensive, and I've actually got more out of it than what I've put into it in that way.
Yeah.
Apart from that, every other single insurance I've ever had for anything has been worthless.
That's what I forgot. My car with the mirror is completely pointless claiming it on insurance.
Yeah. Your deductible would be way higher than the cost to repair it. Yeah.
That was pointless. Someone in chat said if it's stolen from a bike rack. So when I got the insurance is like, okay, you must do like all of these things to make your insurance valid. And one of those things is having a gold certified bike lock. So I had to buy a specific bike lock, and I have to lock the bike in a specific way where it's like the chain bike lock goes through the rear tire and the frame of the bike to an immovable object. Then I have a secondary lock that will connect to that chain lock to go through the front tire to lock that to the frame so that no one can steal individual tires.
And all this is for just click steal.
Yeah, exactly. And all that and all the lock is probably heavier than the bloody bike itself, right? Yeah. It's like nuts. But yeah, so if I was left the bike out, I'm sure they'd find some other reason, obviously. But that was what it was for. But yeah, like I'd never anticipated it getting stolen from my fucking garden.
No, I mean my old bike that I'm going to be getting rid of it, but it's been in my back garden for like a year and a half now, and it hasn't moved.
Yeah,
but I know what it's like. I had a bike stolen at uni, like 15 years ago now, and it's not a nice experience. It's like you go to it and it's like, oh, it's gone.
Yeah, but I
and that
So
wasn't
is theft
that
just
wasn't
like
a heinously
is
expensive
that
bike
y'all's
either.
crime over there?
Yeah,
Is that your crime? It's just theft, petty theft?
But bicycle crime here is absolutely fucking nuts. It just seems unstoppable. It'll be like that anywhere from like just someone taking a chance to like people drive up in vans, snip the most expensive bike they see, put it in the van, take it to like the other side of the country or whatever, sell it there where the police don't have jurisdiction and people aren't looking outside their local communities and stuff for it.
I mean, couldn't you just do? I mean, I guess you could just government register bikes. I mean,
I did.
Like,
that was another thing.
oh, there is a register. There's like bins and registers.
The police
and
don't
everything.
give a shit. Like, of course
Okay.
they don't. This happens all the time. It is registered. It was registered on Bike Register. I had a thing for it. I had the frame number and pictures and all that. And if you go on bikeregister.com or .co.uk or whatever the URL is, and you look through the list of stolen bikes, it's like 10 billion pages long.
Oh God!
It doesn't do anything. Yeah. The only thing that people have told me that I didn't do is putting a GPS tracker on it.
Yeah, I was just going to say that's a big thing that you can do. Like, that's a market here because bike theft is so annoying
But then
and bad.
you tell the cops where it would be, and they wouldn't do anything.
Exactly.
Because they're cops. It doesn't matter what side of the ocean they're on. They're still
like,
police.
Even if I had an Apple AirTag or something on it, and I like look at my iPhone, I'm like, oh, my bike is inside this building. You know, it's a block of flats or whatever. What am I going to be to go to the police, ring them? We're like, hey, can we break into this person's flat without a warrant to see if my bike from my GPS tracker is in it? Right? Like, I don't know. It would help maybe. At least I would know where it is. I don't know if I'd get it back. But that's just like you'd have to change the batteries all the time, and the Apple AirTags don't even work for that anymore because they added anti-stalker stuff to it. So if your AirTag is near someone else's iPhone for I can't remember what the time period is, like a couple days, it will alert them to the fact there's an AirTag there, so they can't get stalked.
But I mean, these GPS trackers for bikes have been in existence for like 20 years now. Like, you can get them where you put them within the frame of the bike and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Like, you don't need AirTags, for example. But
putting it in the frame, you just have to change the battery.
So it's annoying.
Yeah, but I don't know. Like I'll look into it. I did look into it a bit afterwards, but that's the only thing I didn't do. But I don't know how much of a difference it makes. The best chance is just not get my bike stolen, right? Like
I had my bike stolen when I was younger. I saw it locked up in the middle of town one day and called the police. They let the thief ride off with it.
The police.
Yeah, that sounds about right.
Yeah. So I've checked all the stores. I've rang everything. I've done everything I possibly can. Nothing has turned up anything. So I've just kind of like cycle of grief or whatever.
Yeah.
I like eventually accepted it and started looking at I eventually gave up and I just started looking for new bikes, but we can talk about new bike next week.
I think you should get a bike with a motor on it this time.
Electric bikes. They're meant to be really good.
Motorcycle.
Oh yeah, what's the point? It's only going to get stolen. You might as well buy a bike that's the cheapest possible. And go on then, Nos. So Josh has had a bad couple of things going on. You've had a rough month.
Well, I mean, it's not. It's not been rough. Oh, I still let it say rough in the document.
Yeah,
I just copied Josh.
Rough as in lots of things going on, maybe.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. So I guess the first thing is that I've been doing. I've been working like every day for the past forever. It's been.
It's a normal NOS month.
Yeah, I'm trying to get about 60 hours a week. So
that's many hours.
Yeah, it's 20 hours overtime each week. Yesterday, I didn't have a good day yesterday in terms of money, but before yesterday, I don't remember the last day that I made under $100 in like tips and mileage. For reference, that's pretty good. At my place. So I've been working, either 6 or 7 days. I've been getting 60 hours a week. I've been doing that for 2 months now. I'm tired.
I can understand.
I want to take a big nap, but I can't. I must go to work.
But why? Why do you need to work 60 hours a week?
Wow. Well, thank you for leading me in to the segue. So I think I talked about it on the podcast several months ago. I'm sure nobody watched it, but I'm here now, and I'll talk about it now. I'm buying a home, but not a real home because I'm too poor for that. So, you guys don't have these things over there, I don't think. But I'm getting a. But
They're normally holiday homes, these kinds of things, right?
Yeah,
we do. I've looked at them for myself. So.
Oh, okay then. Well, okay then. Never mind. But
they're about double the price of what you paid. But
well, good lord, and the price that I paid is double what they were 3-5 years ago.
Wow.
So, but anyway, so I'm getting a mobile home. I'm going to be putting it on land that's right next to my grandmother's house and my mother's house. So there's always been a lot in between the both of us when I lived over there. And a friend of our family owns it, and they're allowing me to put a mobile home there. And then I guess now this is the part where you would show them, if you haven't already.
I am showing the images.
So this is the so true mobile home. From what I've gathered, is kind of the budget mobile home makers. Okay. So, and I'm getting the literal cheapest one you can. This is the 2-bed, 1-bath.
So you don't, you're not going to be owning the land that it's on, like the plot.
That's correct. I'll be paying lot rent to a family friend. I will likely buy this land at some point in the next few years, because I mean the woman who I'm paying lot rent to is elderly. She's in her 70s now. She's in her early 70s.
But yeah, so is that why a few years ago you moved your mobile home from one place to another? Like, was that because I imagine that causes just further issues if you own the home on it but you don't own the land on it, and then the landowner wants
yes,
to,
exactly. There's actually a very educational. I don't know if you gentlemen like John Oliver. But there's a very good video by segment by John Oliver that talks about exactly this.
Okay.
Which is how you will get a mobile home. You'll put it in, say, a trailer park or whatever, and then if you ever are not able to make the lot rent, then you would forfeit the trailer too. So like you would like your whole life would be over. Basically.
Oh, does it come with the Hello Kitty bag?
I have no idea. I don't. Or were you in one of the bedrooms or something?
Yeah.
But anyway, so 2-bed, 1-bath. My uncle works for because of course he does. He's a salesman for these things. He works at a lot and he sells these things.
I thought he was a salesman for cars.
Well, he was. And then that
just
was
general salesman.
Yeah, and then well, he's always been in sales.
Okay.
But anyway, so he's doing the deal for me. Let's see, 2-bed, 1-bath. It's this model year is actually new. Like they're doing a new version of it, and I get a couple of benefits for it being new. So one of them is instead of a traditional heating and air unit that you would find in most homes over here, I'm getting a high, and this is at no extra cost, because it's like government subsidized by the government. I'm getting a high efficiency heat pump for the heating and the cooling or whatever. And those are projected to reduce your power bill by about 60%. So depending on what month it is and what the weather's like and everything.
I mean, it looks nice, to be fair.
Yeah.
Some people, I suppose, people are saying like this is like a 500k apartment in London or something like that. Like it's quite spacious. It's for the price of it as well. Like yeah.
Well, and so it's got a high efficiency heat pump, and it also has a whole house ventilation system. So it's got like it doesn't have an attic, of course, but I imagine that there's some space up in the roof, and like there's vents that you can turn on a switch by the back door, and it turns on your whole house ventilation system.
Yeah.
So, from what I understand, heat pumps are really good in the summer. They might not be as good in the winter.
Aircon is just a heat pump with a different name. So
yeah,
it's just like a heat pump is just aircon in reverse to do warm.
yes,
Yeah. So
71 square meters for those who know meters rather than feet. Pretty sizable.
Also, I'm talking about there's an actual fan that circulates air that's in the ceiling, and then obviously your ductwork for your climate control is going to be below the home.
right.
So you've got that. You've got the heat pump. You've got that, and then there's also in the laundry room in my model, there's a built-in drain to have a dehumidifier. So instead of having it like having a dehumidifier that you have to dump out water from a tray or have it go out a window or whatever, there's already a pre-built-in pipe into the home itself where you can plug in a dehumidifier because dehumidified air is easier to heat and cool. So it's all about being energy efficient is kind of the point.
Oh, what happened with the whole washer dryer situation? That clip came up a while ago. It's a random clip on my stream.
Well, I deleted it because this is just uninteresting. I just got a washer and a dryer. I mean,
you got a separate one. You didn't get a combi one.
Yeah, I bought separate units because it was like $500 used for a matching set as opposed to $1,200 for a combo.
Oh, okay.
So
we might have told it. I don't know, but like that clip came up, and I just thought, I never actually followed up with Nuss. And when he got his house, did he actually get a combination washer dryer? But
no, I just got the one. If either of those ever break and I have the spare money, I'll probably get a combination. But
So I've just looked up a very similar property because I know there's like a trailer park, I guess you would call it, that is I say relatively close to me. It's about, I don't know, about 10 miles outside of the city, so it is pretty much in the middle of nowhere, right? And you're looking at $176,000 for the same sort of quality and the same size.
Well, do you own the land too, or just the mobile home?
You own the land and the mobile home, but it's a tiny plot of land. It's just like a tiny. It's the plot of land is the size of the home essentially, with like a little bit of garden around the outside.
That's such a big difference.
$176,000.
And where was that? Sorry.
That's like 10 miles outside of me.
So that's even like Scotland prices as well. Like.
Yeah.
The further south you go, the kind of dread to think what that would be like close to London.
Yeah. So good Lord. So yeah, I'm getting a fantastic deal compared to that.
Pretty much, yeah.
But yeah. So those are the features. We've been in the process. I've got the land is almost prepared. It needs to have some edits to it because of water runoff and stuff that they didn't do quite right. And I'm also sorting out the septic system. The septic system on the property is really old, and the field lines, I don't know anything about septic. But apparently there's roots growing through the field lines, and so there's going to be a decent amount of work that needs to be done to the septic system, and then I still need to get a power box and pole put up. But once I do that, then it'll be pulled onto the property and set, and then I'll be able to move in, and that'll probably be about mid-October. So my lease isn't up until the end of November, so I'm actually having this done earlier than I was expecting and what I needed, which is good.
That's good. It's good that you've gotten on the property ladder or whatever, like actually owning something and
yeah, and it's good. Well, it's right next to where I used to live. It's literally next door. So I'll have the same internet that I do here and the same internet I did there. As for what comes with it, a fridge and a stove. You get a fridge and a stove. There's no other furniture. So that'll be nice. Our stove in this rental is like 40 years old and half works. So
There you go for the trailer. I've put it in joke chat. Probably don't save it, so it's not.
Let me
doxing me. But yeah, have a look at that.
Well, this is a double wide on a permanent foundation, so I could see as to why this would be so much more expensive.
Yeah. It's actually pretty much on a golf course. It's to the side of a golf course. This little development, but still, it is still pretty much essentially in the middle of nowhere.
Well, speaking of how much it is, I'll walk you through. So, Brough, if you'll go to the first image that I posted,
the typed up one, not the handwritten one.
Yes, that's right, the typed up one. Yeah. So I'll walk you through kind of the terms of the loan. I think given the market, I got a pretty decent setup because I have a good credit score. I have a 730 credit score, like 736. But my credit file's thin because I've never financed like anything real before. I've just had revolving credit and self-reported stuff and stuff like that. But I am putting $10,000 down on it for 300 months. That's 25 years. And then we're doing my interest rate's going to be 7.75%, and my payment with insurance and all is going to be around $493 a month. So, which is quite good. I mean, for context, I pay $825 a month in rent right now. So,
yeah, you're going to be much better off. Yeah.
So this price is going to go down because when we did the terms of this loan, we were factoring in the cost of the power pole and the power box. But I've got enough spare money. I'm just going to pay a friend of my uncle's in cash to do that. Yeah. So that'll be probably $2,000 to $3,000 off the amount of the loan. So, my payment could be somewhere in the neighborhood of actually like $460. I don't know. So I'll be saving that much. I'll be saving, say, $300 or so a month in payment over my rent. And then my power bill is going to be a lot less because this is less square footage, not floor square footage, but air square footage, because I've got like a high ceiling in my living room, and this room has a higher ceiling too. So I'll be saving on the power bill. I'll be saving in payment over rent. I'll be building equity in an actual item. So it's just all around kind of the best thing I could have done.
Yeah, that's good.
Yeah, nice.
Yeah, so I'm looking forward to it. DTI, what?
LTV I know is loan to value. I think so. It's like the amount of the loan versus the amount of value that the house is like. The loan he's getting is 83% the value of the house.
Yeah, that would make sense because your down payment is you add the percentage of that and the LTV. Yeah, okay. Now, DTI I actually don't know what.
I don't know what DTI is. I've never come across that.
Yeah, so it looks like that my total like my total on this loan is going to be about $50,000 or in that ballpark. For context on how the market has changed, so my mother's mobile home, she had the big 3-bed, 2-bath version of this home, and when she financed it for $32,000 for double the house she got for half the cost. That was about 6 years ago. So But I mean, the market on these things has just went insane because no one can afford a real house anymore. Because real houses there's no like $120,000 starter home anymore. There's not the 3-bed, 2-bath brick home for $120,000. It's not real. It's fake. It doesn't exist. It's an apparition of your mind. It's in your imagination, right? So.
I honestly wouldn't be complaining about home prices to people in the UK,
Yeah. Although that interest rate is like, when you said it, I winced. 7.7%. When I bought this house, it was, I think my interest rate on it right now is 2 point something %.
Oh my god!
I know, and but my fixed
so
rate's coming
lucky.
to an end next year, so I'm gonna be
right, okay.
yeah.
Because I'm looking at the moment, and I'm looking at like 6.5, 7.5, and I'm like,
Yeah, that is insane.
Yep. Thanks, Tories.
Yeah. Yeah.
Can you hear me?
Yeah.
we can hear you. You can't hear us.
Okay. I died. Were you hearing anything I said
Yeah, we heard everything.
about homes being apparitions of your mind and they're not real?
Yeah.
We got all of that. Yeah. It was just you couldn't hear us for some reason.
Okay. But and I mean, from at least in my area, it seems like the cause of this is specifically like property management companies and using homes, single family unit homes specifically, as modes of investment and income, as opposed to like homes for people.
Yeah, places to live.
So like if that, say there's that $90,000 home that needs a little bit of work, like regular people don't buy those anymore. Companies buy them, rehab them, and then rent them for $1,200 a month. That's reality now. So there's no more real people buying homes. It's just renting. And when you start renting, if you don't get out quick, you're just gonna die. You're gonna die a renter, because you're never all your money. You might as well just burn it. You might as well flush it in the toilet. You might as well you can eat it. It will provide as much value to you as paying rent. So
meanwhile, me here having rented my entire life,
well, it's
possible
a trap,
way of owning
man.
a home ever. Well, am I supposed to? This shit's even more expensive here, Nos. The thing you were describing started 20 years earlier here. Right? Like,
it's terrible. It's terrible. So anyway, so that's the terms of my loan. Speaking of my bills being less, some good news, or some news, and I suppose there's time for her to back out. I don't think that's going to happen, as I don't get that vibe. We've been talking about it for months, or for over a month now. We're getting a roommate. Nos and Ben are getting a roommate. So our bills are going to be even lower. So
Nos and Ben,
yeah. So what? Yeah. Oh, did I misspeak? Sorry.
Nos and Ben are getting a roommate.
Yeah, Ben, yes. My two alter egos are now roommates, existing simultaneously. But no, myself and Mavis are getting a roommate.
It's like a PowerPoint presentation from Nos today with all these images.
Yes, here is how my life is about to dramatically improve. So anyway, we're getting a roommate. If you go to the handwritten thing, this is a very basic mock-up of what our bills are going to look like. And the way we do our bills is that Mavis and I have a joint account that all of our bills come out of, so we will put money into the joint account, and then it will be spent on bills, if that makes any sense.
Yeah, that's what we do as well.
Yeah, so of course, we still have our own bank accounts and everything.
It's a good idea. It's a good way.
It's excellent. All these couples out here that are like both using the same bank account they're just doomed to fail. Those couples
you need to
make
make this man a spreadsheet. I could set you up with a spreadsheet if you want. I'd enjoy it. Don't tempt me.
But anyway, if you take a look at the household bills, a very rough mock-up. House payment's I overestimate it's gonna be about $500 a month. You got our lot rent, which is definitely $100. I estimated $160 for the power because I'm paying a little over $200 now. So I just guesstimated $160. Water's gonna be about $40. I know that, and then my internet bill, I get the gigabit internet, so it's gonna be $100. So you take that all up, all the bills related to the house are $900. I used my very large brain and divided that by 2. So Mavis, and Cassandra is her name. I won't tell you much about her because she's no personal information, but that's her name. Her name's Cassandra. So they split that. They're both doing $450 to the joint account, and then Mavis's Ranger, the cost to insure that is about $150. So Mavis is going to add that to the joint account. So boom, she's paying $600 to the joint account. Cassandra's paying $450, and then I'm paying my $200 for my car insurance that comes out of the joint. And then you've got personal bills. I've got $100 health insurance because I'm poor and thanks Obama. so I actually can have health care. That was an unironic thanks Obama, not an ironic one. And then my phone bill is $140, and so my all-in bills are going to be probably around $400 a month, or all my bills. And then Mavis is like $280, and then Cassandra's gonna be $450 plus her phone or whatnot. And it's really a great deal for everybody. I'll sell you on this, and I feel like I have to do a sales pitch, because if you look at it, like, you see, wow, Ben's paying significantly less in bills. This seems unfair.
That did cross my mind.
Yes, I know it did, but for 104, why everyone that I've talked to about my phone bill has like freaked out and like shit and pissed themselves.
Is that monthly cost for a phone? $140?
Yeah, the bill itself, I also have a watch too. So that's part of it. Like, so $20 of it's the service for the watch, and then probably another $30 is like the my phone, like the amount I'm paying to own my phone, like
you're paying
because I finance my phone.
Yeah. So
Right?
how much is your phone bill in terms of like I'm guessing this is mobile phone we're talking about, like the service.
Yes. Yeah, the service I think is like $90. I have like, because I needed like unlimited everything.
Holy shit!
Christ!
What? It's $90. I make that
so
in a day.
expensive.
I don't understand why you're pissing yourself.
Holy cow! Howie, I'm gonna check how much is my bill.
I have unlimited texts, unlimited minutes, 40 gigs of internet for $12.50 per month.
That sounds like what I have. I'm on Smarty. That sounds like what I have. Even. What the
Holy
fuck?
shit!
That's
Well,
nuts.
I've never paid $90 for
Y'all are all
a phone
robots
bill
for me.
ever.
I think I'm paying like £8 a month or something.
Yeah, I'm 18.
Okay, fine. Look, I'll go to my Verizon app. We'll talk about it. Okay.
I'm
Hold on.
unlimited everything for 18 a month.
Yeah,
What
that
the
sounds about right
hell?
from what I understand from things here. Yeah.
Jeez. Jesus Christ, $90? America is like.
But the thing is, what Nos was saying was that's for the phone and the bill.
Yeah. No.
Now-
90
now,
was the service.
90 was the service.
Yeah, it's 140
Yeah.
total.
Oh,
The
okay.
other
140
50 on that
total.
is the paying off the phone and stuff.
Yeah.
In which case-
Stop speculating. I'm
In
going
which
to
case, fuck that.
Yeah.
That's why we're freaking out. Yeah,
Going to
£8.
that.
My phone is £8 a month for 12 gigabytes and unlimited text and calls and all that stuff. £8.
I'm going to put my 8-pound foot up your ass if you stop.
Literally less than 10% of the cost.
Okay, for one, my bill was actually $130. It was $129.56.
Oh, that's fine.
That's so much better.
That's all right.
Oh, it doesn't matter then. It's all fine. No, that's fine.
Okay, so my stupid Google Pixel watch that I only use to tell the time because I don't really like it is $11.23. Okay, and then my phone bill itself, okay, is for my phone is hold on, this is gonna be bad.
What should be worse than 90?
It's $118. Okay. And so my monthly charge is $94. Okay. And then I guess the rest of that is there's a $5 surcharge for no reason. I think it's like a 3-year contract. I don't know.
What?
Okay, I got it. Okay, so my 5G Do More plan was $90, but I do auto pay. So it's $80 because I get a discount because I auto pay
Only
it.
10x
Shut up. Okay. And then my device payment is $25.27.
That part's fine.
And then I'm
totally
having
reasonable.
a trade-in device credit of $11.
Yeah, okay. The renting or mortgaging or whatever the phone, that part is fine. That makes sense. But the 90 or 80 or whatever for just the signal, like holy shit!
Well, look,
Incredible.
I could go. Look, I don't have any other options through Verizon. I mean, I could go get one of those poor people cricket plans where I'd never get service, but
it's just American like signal, like
Robbing
internet
you
costs,
blind.
right?
Here, plans. Hold on. Let me look at plans. Let me compare my plan options, okay? Okay, let's change my plan live on stream.
You can tell he's had this conversation with
I mean,
people.
to be fair, we're sweating Nos on the small stuff here. He is paying significantly less.
Yeah,
we still need to be presented with that argument. Yeah.
Exactly.
Okay, explore plans. I'm exploring the plan. Our recommended plan's $110.
Oh my god!
It comes with 5G ultra wideband, 60 gigabytes of hotspot data. Who uses a hotspot for 60 gigabytes?
Yeah, they tried to pull that shit in the UK for charging separately for hotspots. We didn't take it.
Yeah,
we didn't take it. We said that's bullshit. Fuck off.
Yeah.
And now they don't charge for it. So.
Okay. I can start my own plan starting at $65 a month.
Starting. That's just the basic.
Minimum? Jesus.
All right, I'm going to start building my plan. Okay, you people can pick my... Okay. Unlimited Ultimate, Unlimited Plus, Unlimited Welcome.
Have you tracked how much data you actually use on your phone? Like, can you see how much data you use?
I probably can do that.
Guys, given how much we have to talk about,
to be fair, really, yeah, that's a good point.
I hate to put my producer hat on and everything, but like,
yeah, we're not even halfway through the list yet. We need to rifle through some of these.
Oh my god, I'm so frustrated. My leg is cramping. Goddamn. Okay. So anyway, to sell you on this. Okay, so for one. I've been paying the majority of the bills for the past 2.5 years. Okay, I've been paying a lot. Okay, a lot of money. So, and also the amount that Mavis pays right now. This plan here that I've got on my little sheet of paper. She's saving over $100 because right now she's putting $700 into the joint account and then has her like individual bills too. Are y'all still there?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Is this a room made for your current house, or will it be also for your future house? It's because the bills are set for your future house. So it's
this is a roommate that's going to be moving in when we get this mobile home. Yeah. So anyway, this is truly a great deal for everyone. Is it a better deal for me? Obviously, that's why I'm doing it. But like I said, the logic here is I have been paying so much for so long.
That makes sense when it comes between you and Mavis. But that's got nothing to do with Cass. She should just pay a third.
Kat, she
should pay 300.
Right now Cass is okay, so how do I do this without divulging too much information? So Cass is currently cohabitating a space with someone who does not work or pay bills whatsoever, who does not take care of their space, and who is just all around not good. So right now, Cass's bills are looking like, well over $1,000.
So basically, you've got leverage over her to, make her to pay a little bit more to get out of a shit situation.
Well, it's not. No, that's not it.
Good to see you're getting into the landlord mentality straight away.
Yeah, I know, right?
No, okay, Mavis is here, and Mavis is in chat. She can divulge as much as she wants. It's more Mavis's friend than mine. But also, the thing with this is, if Cass was paying just a third or whatever, like that, it would $450 is already so low. To tell you the God's honest truth, like it's not low in terms of like if you combine it with other bills, but this is all of your bills are $450 to live somewhere is incredibly low, and it just like. What am I trying to say?
You're being a good landlord, I'll give you that.
Is that low at 100 of that? Is your phone alone?
Yeah, exactly. When phone plans are $300 a month. But
I went for 400.
But if we were splitting it 3 ways, then I just wouldn't have a roommate. Like having the inconveniences of having a roommate would not be worth $200 a month.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, I mean, it's like, when if you're renting a property, you're paying more than what the mortgage from the owner is paying because you're renting. So there's the extra added, charge built into that, I suppose.
Yeah. So it's so what it's like what amount it strikes a balance between like, well, we want it to be like extremely affordable in the grand scheme of things, right? Because we don't want to. I'm not trying to take advantage of any roommate I have, but I also don't want it to be so low that it's like completely negligible.
Yeah.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. So that's kind of the thought process here, and I really want my bills reduced because Segway. For one, I just want more money, of course, because I've been struggling with money for so long. But I would really like to have a car. That would be cool if I could have a car, like a real car, like a newer car. And
you've
on
got
that topic,
5, right?
I have 3 cars, and Mavis has her truck.
I would really like to have a car. I've got 3 already.
I have 2 old Japanese sports cars and a 215,000-mile Honda Accord, okay? I'm not living in luxury here, okay? So, on that note, I drove a new MX-5. This was over a month ago that I drove it. It was an automatic, unfortunately. The reason I drove this car is that the dealership it was at, I know people at, so I could realistically take a joyride in it, essentially. But it was an MX-5 RF, and I've always wanted to drive one. So if you know anything about MX-5s, you've got, for the newer models, you've got 2 different types. You've got the normal soft top, which is like a traditional Miata. Are you showing the picture, by the way?
I am.
Okay, and then you have the RF, and the RF stands for retractable fastback.
Yeah,
they look great. They do look fantastic, bro. And so essentially the retractable fastback, instead of a cloth top that goes all the way down, you have the panel that's above your head will retract back into the back of the car, and then there's a rear window that goes away too. So the reason I wanted to drive an RF is because I was wondering, like, is this really the convertible experience, or does it feel more like a sunroof? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And to my surprise, it feels a lot better than I thought it would. Like, if I didn't already, because I might sell my 2000 Miata at some point. If I didn't already have like a true proper convertible, I would probably not want the RF. But if I were to get an RF, that would essentially be I would sell the Accord. I would be replacing the Accord, and having the hardtop would give it more practicability in terms of weather. Right.
So you would have 3 MX-5s.
Yes. Yes. So very practical. Look.
Yeah, it looks really good though.
Yeah, but I wouldn't get it in this color. I would get what I would truly want is, thinking about it, I would want an MX-5 RF in Soul Red with the Brembo BBS Recaro package, which is like
I've looked at similar. The red does look great.
Yeah, the Soul Red is great. But not only do I want this because would want it because it's my dream car, right? But if you let's say, and the car is like $40,000, right? Which is pretty high, which is really high for a car, I would think. But if you look at, say, if I was to go buy like a $40,000 top trim model Civic or Accord or something like that, the depreciation that you will experience through a car like that would be much sharper than one you would experience over if you've got the MX-5 RF in the correct trim package, which is the Brembo BBS Recaro package, and you got it in the correct color, which is Soul Red. Because from the little bit of from the little bit of research I've done, that's the spec that gets the most in the aftermarket, right?
Okay.
So that would be the idea. how much I'd want to save up for it. It's going to be about a $40,000 car. I'd probably put about $20,000 down, because I would want to put enough down to where at no point in my loan do I have negative equity in the car.
Yeah.
So if, let's say, I lose my job, or my income decreases, or something bad happens, I could just go sell the car, loans paid off, wash my hands of it.
Yeah.
So that would be the idea. I wouldn't want to go into the Mazda dealership and be underwater on an MX-5, and then like that would just be terrible. Or if it gets wrecked, that this will save me. If I don't have any negative equity in the car, then I wouldn't have to purchase gap insurance, which would be an added X amount on top of my loan.
His phone is more expensive than a new car. A lot of financial sense for a guy paying $140 a month for his phone. And then Pseudonymous said, further to Nos's phone, just check some flights. For the price of 6 months of a phone plan, Nos could get a plane from Huntsville to London, then take a train up to Hartlepool, and just talk to Broughy in person instead.
I'm going to beat you all to death with my fists. Okay. So anyway, that's the idea. I don't know if I will actually be able to make it happen, because we're going to be cutting it really close on all the extra stuff I want to do with this property. The septic's probably going to go sideways, and it's going to be more than I expected. And we very well, I will believe that we have a roommate that's paying bills whenever I see that money go into my account and she is physically standing in my house.
Yeah.
I will not believe that until I see it.
If it happens, you'll have to give us updates on like what it's like to live with a roommate, because I've never really had. I mean, I have at uni, I suppose, but that was different. Like, I don't know, like having someone come into my home and be a roommate in my home would strange.
Yeah, well, and this and the situation and the person we're having as a roommate is pretty unique, because I've not really met anybody, to tell you the truth, that I feel would have like respect over a space. And she does. I do feel like she would have that kind of respect of cleaning up space and everything. So I keep a pretty.
But Nos, why do you need a new MX-5?
Well, this is not a good segue. This has nothing to do. These topics are not. Well, I need a new MX-5 to answer your question, with not the right answer that you're looking for.
I'm trying to move the conversation along.
Yeah, I know. My Accord is straight up getting old. If I was going to sell my Accord at any point and extract any value, it needs to be in the next, say, 15,000 miles, right? Because it's got 215 on it now. Once I'm past like 230, I'm closer to 240 and 250 and 260. There's really no more value to extract from the car in terms of selling it. Even with my service record history, even with its exceptional condition, given its mileage, it's still a hard proposition to get somebody to come buy a 270,000 mile car.
Yeah.
So that's to answer your actual question. But speaking of MX-5s, I hit a deer. I had a small wreck and hit a deer. I was taking a coworker home. So the first photo that you'll see will be what happened. So I was driving down a back road, and so on one side of the road, there is a huge embankment, right? There's like a cliff. And on the other side, there is just a straight downward, like it just goes into a valley, right? This deer jumps off of the embankment into the center of the road, just stands there, and then I managed, with my proper race car ability, driver skills, I managed to actually brake as much as possible without locking the brakes, because this car doesn't have ABS. So I got one, but that was it for in terms of locking my brakes. And then I managed to, because I couldn't go right, because I would just went off into a valley and died. And I couldn't go too far to the left, because I would have overcorrected and spun out and died. So I just turned as much left as I could without upsetting the angle of the car, and I caught its back right knee in my fender, as you can see in this photo here. And it basically just punched the fender all the way back. It knocked my coolant reservoir loose. It nearly busted a coolant line. Like it was inches away from that. And then it pushed the headlight back and it damaged the bumper slightly. So as far as hitting a deer in a Miata, right? This is the best that it possibly could have been.
Yeah.
If I wouldn't have been paying attention to the road or whatever, or if I hit the deer head on or whatever, I mean, a deer's just gonna slam into your windshield, slam your windshield down into you, and you die. So that's really it. Or it'll just go up over you, or it'll go in the cabin with you, and then you'll be sitting there with the deer as you're driving down the road. So, yeah. That's what happened. And luckily, my mechanics knew a local guy that does body work, and they were able to just take the fender off, and the solution to all of life's problems, hit it with a hammer, and they fixed it in a good enough way to where it's drivable.
It looks pretty good, to be fair, considering the state it was in.
I think you really, like you say, you got out of that pretty good.
Yeah, that's as far as hitting a deer. This is in a Miata.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is the best it possibly could have been.
Yeah.
And the deer, even when it slammed down into the hood, like when I buckled its knee, it went kaboom, and then like just tumbled off down into the valley.
No.
But the just missing the cable ties. No. The zip ties, you just can't see them. That's how skillful these body people were. They hid the zip ties, so you can only see it if you pop the hood. But the hood was fine. The bumper's shape is fine. If you look at the second photo, you can see that it like chipped the paint a little bit, but the shape of the bumper itself is fine. So yeah, it couldn't have ended better as far as, hitting a deer.
Excellent.
Yeah, as well.
Not for the deer,
but well, I don't care about the deer. Deer are a detriment to the environment. So, and they all need to be slain.
So that's everything, and that's happened in the last 2 months with you, then.
Yeah, I think so.
It was overworking, buying a house, getting a roommate, driving a fancy MX-5, hitting a deer.
Also realizing all of his problems could be fixed if he paid less for his phone.
But and to put the bills in, I feel like the bills don't have any kind of context if you don't have my income. So I'll give you the best case scenario. So when I work 60-hour weeks, my checks, and this is bring home, this is net. My checks end up being right at $1,000 if I work 2 60-hour weeks. And then I'm usually making well over $100 each day. So let's say I work 6 to 7 days. Let's say I make $700 a week in tips and mileage. That's a good average. You take that, so it's in a pay period, that's $1,400 plus your $1,000 check. That's $2,400. It's about $4,800 a month that I'm bringing home. And then if all of this works out and we have a roommate, out of that money, I'm spending about $400 of it in bills, and then my credit card bill every month is about $500 for gasoline because I put all of my gas on a credit card. So, that's a surplus of over
a very healthy amount.
Yeah. That's well over $3,000.
Yeah.
So
that's
right. Where I'll be.
That's not bad then.
Well,
hopefully, you can start to get into a decent position and stuff. Maybe you can not work 60 hours a week.
Yes, maybe. That would be nice.
All right.
No.
Well, I was going to move on to, because now that you two have gone out, I've got some quick updates. I'm sure they won't be as extensive as yours.
Yeah, sorry.
but I pay a normal amount for my phone, so... Poor nuts. When we're never going to let you forget about that now, right? So yeah, I have an update on the PhD. A year ago, I pretty much started the whole PhD process. Well, it was like 2 years ago that I started with like thinking that I might want to do a PhD. And then it didn't take very long for me to actually get accepted onto a PhD course, and I thought it was going to take a lot longer than that. So I started this year, pretty much this time last year, with like the first couple of sort of introductory lectures that they had for it. And I talked about it in the podcast at the time that I decided at that point that I wanted to defer it for a year because, okay, this has gotten very real, very quick, and this seems like it's going to be a lot of work. I want to make sure that it's something that I can actually do and fit into my time before actually committing to it. Because this is like 7 years at 15 hours a week of time that I would need to put into it. So after this year has gone on and we're a year down the road, and this is where I would pick it up again, and I've decided not to. So I've officially withdrawn from the program instead of going back to it, basically. So it's kind of like it I feel a little stupid for getting so excited about it in the early stages of it and actually making a video and all that kind of stuff and talking about it. I think I got caught up with it. All happened a bit too quickly for me. There'll be no Dr. Brough. I think when I first started thinking, oh, this would be really good to do, I'd really like to do this, I've got a good research proposal idea, and it could be some really helpful research for the I still believe in all of that, and I believe in my ability to do it from my ability to do it. I don't believe I have the ability to devote the time to it is the problem. But I don't think I think I was expecting it to take a lot longer to even get to the point of you've got to find supervisors, find someone who's willing to sponsor the research, find a university who's willing to accept you onto the program and stuff like that. And that all happened almost very quickly. It happened within a few months of me deciding to start the entire process. I'd written the proposal, I'd gotten accepted, and here I was this time last year starting a PhD program for 7 years. And up until that point, I'd just gotten caught up in, oh, this is going to be great. I'll be able to actually do some awesome stuff and do proper research, and and then the fact that it was going to be 7 years of hellish work. I mean, the first 3 years is literally just you've got to be reading journal articles and reading literature on the topic 15 hours a week before you even start thinking about actually doing any kind of research or your own sending out surveys or anything like that. So and the more that I spoke to other people in the area as well, and who are currently doing PhDs or have also started PhDs, and some people who are lecturers who've started a PhD and they've paused it for 3 or 4 years and just constantly have it hanging over their head because they need to go back to it, but they never do and never have the time to do it. And I just thought, I can't start this now, especially with GTA 6 going to be coming at some point. I can't get into this right now. There's no way I can spend 7 years with this hanging over my head and I wouldn't be able to devote that time. I need to be working and making money. I can't especially now with the cost of living and all that. I can't take 15 hours away from earning money right now. There's no way. So in terms of I still believe in the fact that I feel accomplished that I got onto a PhD course so quickly and I was accepted almost straight away, and that I think my research has merit. So my thought is that I might try and do it anyway. The research part of it in terms of getting some results, talking about the results, putting out surveys to ask, get those information. I might do it anyway. And also there's the route going down of maybe I can get published in a journal or something like that without going the full 7 years of doing a PhD. So I think that's ultimately what I'm gonna go for now. It's all, I've still got all my notes and everything for it and my plans and things. So I'm just gonna see how that goes. But at least I'll be able to do it in my own time, as and when I feel like I want to, rather than be locked into 7 years of potentially really troubling stuff, and I'm not going to get a chance to put the time into it that I need to. So yeah, I appreciate those of you in the chat saying reasonable decision and stuff. I don't think I would need to have a PhD to get a job if I ever needed to after this, for example. I've got a master's already, you know, and I've got 10 years of running a business, self-employed, you know, all this kind of stuff and things like that. Yeah. So it wasn't necessarily for career advancement or anything like that. It was more that I was really interested in doing that bit of research, and hey, if I'm going to do that research, maybe I can tie it to doing a PhD and, you know, further my achievements in life, I guess. And I'm not necessarily fully closed off to it. Maybe when I'm older and I have more time or something, or I might revisit the idea of doing a PhD, but yeah, not right now. There's no way I can devote that time to it. So no Dr. Broughy, unfortunately. But yeah, I feel a bit stupid for making a video about it.
Well, I don't know. I guess you do feel stupid when you do things like that, but I probably made videos about things I was excited about and then never did or whatever.
At least I've made I feel like I've made a smart. I think it's the right decision.
Yeah,
and it's the smart decision. But yeah, I mean, there's things I can take away from it, I suppose. At least I haven't just blindly followed it now that I've got accepted and was miserable for the next 7 years.
Yeah.
And yeah, that's true. Life changes. It was what I wanted to do and what I felt like I could do at the time, and then things change. So yeah, no Dr. Broughy, but maybe I'll get published in some sort of journal article in the future if I do this research anyway. I'll keep you all up to date.
Okay.
The two other quick things are, these are old. All of these things now are really old because it's been months since we've had the chance to talk about it, and they've been on this document for months. The football video. Did you guys see the football video?
I did, yeah.
Yes.
You liked it?
Legendary content. One of my favorites that you've done.
I think it's my favorite and the best video I've ever made. Like, I think it just tops like for the actual quality of the video, and then also tops my absolute favorite of my own. I'm so happy with how it turned out. Yeah, if anyone hasn't seen it, search for it.
Go see it.
Go watch it.
Yeah. I enjoyed it, even though I don't give a crap about football in any conceivable way.
Yeah, a lot of people said that. Yeah,
I enjoyed it, even though I'm openly hostile to your version of football. So that's something.
Yeah,
it's not really about that bit.
Yeah,
I suppose.
Yeah, of course. Yeah, that's the point. It's not about football at all. It's about you and someone who was very important to you.
Yeah,
that's real big.
So yeah, it was. I'm really happy, and to be honest, I'm happy with the views it got. Like, I wasn't expecting over 10,000. Like, normally, if I do anything that isn't GTA, you're looking at 3,000 to 5,000 views. Like, the real life racing stuff gets maybe 3,000 to 4,000 views every episode or something. And I was kind of expecting the football video to do the same sort of thing, and I wouldn't have been disappointed by that. But I'm really happy that it actually got a little bit of outside attention from just the hardcore who watch every video sort of thing. I'm really happy in the end, and yeah, definitely my best video. It was ages ago now, and speaking of more videos, Vice City, I've been doing my playthroughs of the GTA games, and I uploaded the first episode of for the first episode of each of these playthroughs. I've been doing music on to give us I've been putting music on to give us like the feel, knowing that it was going to get claimed and stuff like that. And I'm like, okay, for the first half an hour, the first episode, when it goes up on YouTube, it'll have the music, it'll give us the feel of, you know, the game, and then I'll turn it off and the rest of the playthrough will be silent. Josh is shaking his head. So I uploaded the first episode of the GTA 3 one. There was maybe like 2 or 3 claims for the music or something. It wasn't too big of a deal. I uploaded the one for Vice City, and I think there was about 7 or 8 individual claims for the different music that was featured in that first half an hour. So what I did is I appealed every single one of them.
What? Okay.
And after 30 days, there was no responses, and the video's fine.
Okay.
So and I'm doing the same with San Andreas now. I've already uploaded the first episode. It had about 9 different claims on it, and I went back and did it with the GTA 3 one as well. and they're not doubling down on it, because it's literally like 20 seconds of the song, and it's working. They're not doubling down on the claim, they're just letting it lapse, and after the 30 days they haven't addressed it, so it gets cleared, and I'm making money on those videos. There's no viewer restrictions on those videos. I receive all the ad revenue from the point that I started the claim. So I did that for Vice City early enough, but for the GTA 3 one, I didn't receive the ad revenue for like the 2 weeks that it was up before I thought to do this. So yeah, it's actually a success story in a way.
Wow.
Yeah,
that's actually really interesting. I guess they don't bother manually filing the claims back, so they just let them lapse to anyone who tries to appeal them.
To be fair, I have appealed a lot of things in the past. Like every time I get one of these, I'll appeal it most of the time, because it's all just, fair use in a way. And I would say the success rate is maybe like 50-60% they'll get removed.
Right. Okay.
But I always put in the effort to actually claim it, and I just say like it's an incidental inclusion and it doesn't infringe on the original source material and stuff like that. And some of them will, double down and not release it. But I was surprised that I wasn't expecting much for the first Vice City video, because there were so many, and all it takes is one to not release it. And even if all the others do, I'll still get no money from the video. But every single one of them had. And it's the same for the San Andreas one. At the minute, there's been no response, and I think we're like 20 days in at this point. So, yeah.
Nice.
I was able to make money on those videos, even though there was music in them from GTA Radio.
That's really good, because where I play those older games a lot, I used to play the radio and stuff, and then I was like years and years and years ago, but that just became impossible. It was just I was just constantly dealing with copyright things on YouTube all the time, and it was like, sometimes you can edit it out, sometimes you can't, sometimes it's just silent, all that stuff. It was just not worth it.
Yeah.
So I got to the point where I've built up an entire system of avoiding it. Like my games, I have the radio turned off, and for the bits in the games where the radio plays regardless of whether the radio turned off or not, I have like a tool that reads the memory and mutes the entire game.
Right, okay.
If I'm in those areas.
Yeah, because I got caught out by that. Actually, the Vice City, I think there was 3 episodes of it where it had claims. The first one, and then like 2 others later on. 2 of them got totally cleared, but 1 of them didn't, and it was when, in the arena, like the hot ring races and stuff like that, they play that music. They doubled down on those. They wouldn't release those for some reason. Right. Maybe because it was a longer period, but
so it's like the interiors and stuff, random cutscenes.
It's annoying. It still plays.
But but there's speedrunners have come up with lots of ways of doing this. Like some people play. You know how like audio tracks and stuff work in OBS, right? Like some people have the radio playing from an external source,
right,
and toggle it on and off with a tool detecting when you're in a vehicle or not.
Right. Okay.
But because it's a separate audio thing, you can separate the track from the rest of it, and then
that's smart.
That is
that is like Omega Universe brain right there. That's very good. I would not have thought of that.
Like I have. My OBS splits out everything into different audio tracks. I have microphone, I have game sound specifically.
I have a very similar setup to that.
My mixer, the music has its own thing, and then my Twitch VODs never have music in them and stuff. But it's like, but the problem is, you've got to find ways around getting it out. But I'm glad just appealing it worked for you. That's really interesting.
I was genuinely shocked. I didn't think it was going to happen. And then I looked at it, and it was like 29 days and 1 day to go, and none of them had been sorted with, and then they were all released. And I was like, great.
I've never had any success with that ever. That's amazing. Cool.
So those are my quick updates from months ago, I suppose. Gaming news. We should try to run through these pretty quick, I suppose.
Yeah.
Did you hear about the DRM stuff with Rockstar with Manhunt?
Yeah, I did.
So they for those who didn't see, they were using, was it cracked versions of pirated versions of of Manhunt, and they uploaded that to Steam to get around the DRM issues that were on the original version of the game or something, rather than just patching it out themselves and putting in the effort or something.
Yeah, it's like game devs are doing this all the time. Yeah, they release a game with DRM in it, and then like 10 years later they want to re-release the game on digital platforms, but they can't. They don't have the source code or whatever. They can't remove the DRM, so they just download a pirated version of the game that had the DRM removed by someone, and they just put that up for sale. Yeah, this happens to loads of game devs. But yeah, people found out it was a couple Rockstar games, wasn't it? It was Manhunt, I think, Midnight Club, like Silent posted about. Yeah, it's like it's a fairly common thing that happens. I mean, Nintendo puts up pirated ROMs of their games constantly.
Oh, really?
Their official emulators, like the I can't remember the NES ROMs and stuff. They're always like just downloaded ones on the internet.
Right.
They never actually get them themselves.
That's wild.
Yeah, but it's just like, it's like a stealing from a thief kind of situation.
Yeah, it's still yours sort of thing. Yeah.
Yeah, so it's like it works. It just keeps proving the point that piracy is game preservation.
Yeah,
because it's literally preserving.
The original companies have had to resort to it in a way to preserve it.
Yeah, like the Sony PlayStation little box thing, that was all just community emulators and ROMs and stuff. They just packaged.
Well, I just don't understand why DRM on games is still a thing. I mean, it's like somebody. I mean, pirates crack it in 2 days. You're never going to prevent piracy ever. You're only hurting the preservation of games by including any kind of DRM,
and often reducing the performance of them with all the extra stuff that they have.
It's just that, but it's been like that for so long now, and the situation just doesn't change. So I can't imagine it ever will. They just keep putting DRM in forever, I guess.
In other Rockstar news, they recently put out information saying they're hiring for 5M. I think it was 2 software developers and 1 like project manager or something. So they bought 5M, and they're not just going to get rid of it. They're actually going to hire people to work on it. So. We
need Blade Cruiser to apply for the project manager position. We need Insomniac to apply for the software developer position.
I wonder if you could give Insomniac enough money in the world to allow him to do that. I wonder if that exists.
I'm pretty happy with this because it's like a little bit of I was rightness in the last episode, I guess.
Yeah.
But it's not a certain, right? Like the project manager, they could be hiring someone to be like, okay, make sure you squeeze this as much as possible.
Exactly.
Go over them or whatever. So
it's the software developers are to develop the monetization aspects of the platform going forward.
It discounts they're just going to not do anything, or they're just going to shut it down and kill it after they buy anything. It discounts that. That isn't happening, but there's still various ranges of bad things that could still happen.
Unity were in the news recently with their fees.
Were they in the news?
Every single video I saw on YouTube was about Unity for a while. Fees for the indie devs that they were going to just apply retroactively and all this kind of stuff, and just basically break the bank of devs.
Oh my god, it was absolutely such a shitstorm. Everyone, like every single thing in that announcement was nuts.
It was
by the way, we're just going to like track every single install of the game and then charge you for it. It was based on installs.
One person installs it 30 times and you're just going to get charged 30 times. And
it meant they had like telemetry data, like tracking data for like how many times it installed, because it was automatically reported. So they were going to like fucking spy on every fucking person ever used Unity or installed a Unity game for it. It was absolutely nuts. Yeah, there's been absolute... the indie dev development scene has just completely caught fire. Many people are just like, okay, well, I guess I have to games take years to make. If you were 2 years into a 3-year game project and then this happens, like, what do you do? Like, it's absolute shitstorm.
They have walked it back mostly, right?
But I hate the walking it back thing. It's like the corporation. Oh, let's take 17 steps into the evilness, and we'll take 15 back, right? If the people put up a stink, but we still took 2 steps forwards. It's still worse than what it was. But people aren't accepting it. Like, loads of indie devs are now. A bunch of people made an announcements that were supporting open source in game engines. I personally was going to use Godot. I was planning on, after Josh Done Quick, to do some little game dev stuff in Godot, because I hate Unity for a bunch of other reasons that we don't have time for. But now Godot is the hot new game engine that
I saw
everyone
that
knows
mentioned
about.
many times. Yeah.
So I'm like, so I wanted to be the hip, cool, like, I was using Godot before it was cool, but now it's cool before I got a chance to use it. So when I was doing game dev streams, and my bot, if you ask about like Godot or whatever I'm developing in, the bot makes it very clear that I was doing this before Unity exploded.
I mean, you can't, like, I don't see how any indie dev can trust Unity at this point. Like, they've already shown what they're potentially capable of, or what they're planning for in the future. Like, just go and look for something else.
It's just been slowly getting worse.
Yeah.
Like I said, I've hated a Unity for a bunch of other reasons, and people have been like putting up with it for a long period of time. So now to have them do this is like, people are just, it's too many things now, too many problems.
Yeah.
Did you
guys see the dev of Terraria? As well. They were so annoyed with the announcement with Unity that they were just like, we're just going to give $100,000 to the development of this other engine that Josh just mentioned.
Yeah, Godot. That's what I was. Yeah, that's what I was going to try to say. They gave in a bunch of money to Godot, which is really good, because Godot had just started a fundraising push to try to get more full-time devs working on it, because it's open source, but like they have a few people.
Yeah,
it's like managing an open source project. It's like, you just get the community to do it all. It's like, but they need, like, you need people to check, you need people to organize. It's like, you still need managers and stuff. So that helped a lot. And they FNA, which is an XNA thing, which is what Terraria is made with. They're supporting them as well. There's been lots of, if this just mixes up the scene, it's a good thing for everyone, I think.
Epic Games, they laid off, I think it was yesterday, they've laid off quite a number of employees.
I think the total was
830 jobs.
Wow.
Yeah. That's also really nuts, because it's like, our main engine competitor just completely shot themselves in the foot. Hey, let's announce that. This is a good time for a bad announcement, right? Like, because Unreal is obviously one of the other options for a game engine made. So that was silly. But now after the Unity thing, my timeline on Twitter and Blue Sky is just full of devs saying like, I've lost my job, please retweet.
Yeah, I saw a lot of that. I mean, it seems like every company did exactly the same thing. If the COVID happened, they got more money. They vastly increased the amount of money they spent on people, and then it all went back down again, which most people could have assumed was going to happen anyway. And now they have to get rid of people. Like,
it's especially bad in the game industry, because there's already no job security in game industry. Because you build up for a game, and then you release it, and then you fire everyone.
Yeah,
and then you slowly build up. It's just awful. Yeah,
crazy. And CEO Tim Sweeney said, for a while now, we've been spending way more money than we earn, investing in the next evolution of Epic and growing Fortnite as a metaverse-inspired ecosystem.
We're doing
for
this for you.
I had long been optimistic that we could power through this transition without layoffs, but in retrospect, I see this was unrealistic. Yes, screw off.
You having a wee salary cut there, Timmy boy?
Yeah. Where's your salary cut? Yeah.
You're not doing that, even though it was you that mismanaged to come.
Yeah.
That's how it always is, isn't it? The CEOs never get any repercussions, and they're the ones who are ultimately responsible for all the issues. Like,
I think the only time I've ever seen it happen is with Nintendo.
Nintendo,
That one time, with the Wii U. That was the only time I've ever seen it happen. Yeah, how much of a pay cut does Tim Sweeney need to save the 800 or whatever jobs? Like,
probably like 5% or something.
Yeah.
I remember there was a company in the United States. I can't remember what the company was. I think it was some sort of industrial engineering one. And the CEO of the company decided to take $1 million a year pay cut and provide that $1 million directly to his employees. So I think all of his employees' salaries went up by about 17 grand a year, every single one. He went on these financial programs on the news in the morning in the US, and he basically got laughed at. And then he came back a year later, and it's like, yeah, profits at the company have just like massively improved, and like everyone's so much happier, and like everybody comes to work on time, and no problems whatsoever. Imagine that, giving people more money for what they do, making them happy and more productive.
It makes no sense
Shocking.
to me that it doesn't make like that it's not an obvious thing. Like, how is it that companies aren't like that? I don't know. It just doesn't.
Greed.
Yeah.
Greed and capitalism, isn't it? Really. But, yeah.
And the final bit of gaming news: voice actor strike. The whole
any strike anywhere. I support all strikers. Now I will talk about politics. I support all strikes everywhere.
Good lad.
So the there's been all sorts of actors strikes and writers strikes going on, and then they voted to include the video game industry within that, with voice actors and things for video games. So go them, get more money, get what you deserve and all that.
Because I mean, it ties into the previous topic perfectly. I mean, when you are in a situation where, say, a company or a CEO has so much more power over you, you know, the only power that a worker has is to collectively organize and withhold their labor. That is the only leverage that they have. And they do not have individual leverage, because one man can be replaced, but an entire company, an entire manufacturing line, an entire guild of actors, you know, it's a lot harder to replace that. So that is the only leverage that a worker has against the ruling class.
Yeah,
and
what a novel idea.
I support all strikes, no matter how frivolous or silly it may seem. just keep striking.
What a novel idea. Take care of your employees.
Try to be a train-based commuter in the UK and keep that opinion, Nos, but we'll see.
I could keep it. No matter how inconvenienced I am, I would stand firmly.
I mean, yes, I do as well, memes aside.
Josh, do you need to leave, or what's the?
I just got a Discord DM. It's fine. I can be a little late. It's alright.
Okay. I mean, we've only got Racing Corner and Speedrun Corner. I think Speedrun Corner is about the thing that you need to go and do now, so it'll be perfect way to end. Racing Corner. My real life racing video. I finally won a race. I finally won a final.
Good job.
First place trophy. Here it is. It's right here. It's been here. All the services have got it. Hey. I was so happy.
Cool. Oh my god, a trophy. I would love a trophy. That's so cool.
Have you been karting?
No, I still haven't. I still need to. But
if I ever come visit you, will you take me karting?
Of course. We'll go to the track that I normally race on.
Oh, fantastic!
Come on, we need to do that sometime. That would be so good.
Well, when I'm having an excess of $3 billion a month because I have a roommate, I'll get a plane ticket. I'll come over.
Yeah,
I mean, just cancel your phone and you'll be able to afford a plane ticket for a while. Have any of you met in person? Only me and RDT have met when I was in New York earlier this year, and we didn't get a photo of it, of course.
Because we've never met multiple times. Have we?
I was about to say.
Of course, yeah.
What a fucking dick!
Oh yeah, me and Howard have met many times in various conventions.
We just see each other so often. It's just
I'm just used to it now.
It's not a special occasion anymore.
But no, we still need to do that road trip though. Get you two over here, and we'll go from Josh's place to Hammer's place, and we can stop off at the track on the way up. And
that'd be so good. Yes, that's perfect. Oh my god.
And if y'all come to me, I'll have a new MX-5. Well, we could do a road trip where two of us are in a new MX-5 and two of us are in the old MX-5. We could make one of those road trip MX-5 vlogs that always get like 1 trillion views on YouTube.
Hammer on strike in 3, 2, 1. Yeah. Oh, sorry. So I guess that's Racing Corner, but yeah, we definitely need to race around the track that you guys have been watching me race on for all these years.
Mm-hmm.
Is it big enough to get the MX-5s around it?
Probably. It's a small car.
I don't think they've ever. I think they've had like minis on it once or twice over the years, but like as a promotional thing, not as a proper race.
You know the owners. Just be like, hey, do you want to just let a couple of MX-5s on the track for a couple of
Yeah. And yeah, a go-kart probably is faster, actually. I think it probably would be. The Speedrun Corner, then. What's
Okay.
this Vice City tournament?
Yeah, so for the past month or so, there's been a Vice City speedrunning tournament. So we do this occasionally, but this one's different because it's actually for money. Guy With put up $1,000 of his own money to host a international edition Vice City tournament. So normally speedruns are done in the Japanese version because that's the fastest version for a bunch of complicated reasons. But he wanted to watch some runs in the international or American or British or whatever version, which has a different route. So the last time people ran that game was back in like 2014.
Oh wow! Okay.
So the routes and the techniques and all this stuff is now, ever since this 1K tournament, it's been popping off, right? Like I wanted to join the tournament, so I learned a modern version of that route when it was first announced, and the route I know is now horrendously out of date.
Wow.
It just changed so much.
But that was probably good then to go to that version instead of just sticking with the standard, because then it's ramped up and made it a bit more difficult for people.
Yeah. Definitely, yeah. We had tournaments in the Japanese version in the past, but yeah, this was like to do something different. So yeah, the 1K and the international has been cool. I got knocked out in the first round of the tournament because, of course, I did. But I joined it, but that was fine. But yeah, so the grand finals have been happening. A few days ago, the grand finals are best of 5, but the runners don't have time to do like upwards of 5 runs in one sitting together. So
how many people are left in the final?
It's just 2 people.
Just 2 people. So was it like a knockout stage and there's 2 like?
There's been a bracket and all that stuff.
Okay. And how long are these runs?
It's like an hour for a run. Yeah. So we have 2. The grand finals have been over 2 days. So we had 1 day of stream before, which was 2 races, which I commentated. And those races were absolutely nuts. They were the most closest, clutchest races of Vice City I've ever seen. Like I was the only one doing commentary, and I was just sat here screaming the entire time. I really recommend watching it. I don't know if I have a link to it anywhere, but like go on GTA Marathon Twitch page and look at the videos and find the grand final, the first part of the grand final, Anti versus Marushko, with me commentating. It was absolutely insane. If you don't want spoilers, don't listen for a few seconds, but I'm going to spoil what happens to why it's insane. So the first race was like just a really, really clean run from both of them. There weren't any major mistakes, wasn't anything. They were just neck and neck pretty much the entire time. It was crazy. Like things like the way that a certain animation they got off when they jumped off a bike, or the way they landed their helicopter, like how many bounces they had, or if they like... it was just such tiny details I was commentating on because they were so close the entire race until the very end when the very last glitch of the run, the biggest one, Marushko made a mistake and lost the race because of that. But then the second race was even closer somehow. So they started out with Anti making mistake and then losing 30 seconds, and then we were just like, oh, this race is over, with 30 seconds. That's like bigger than the entire distance of the first race.
Yeah.
But then Marushko made his own mistake and lost like a minute. So then Anti was 30 seconds ahead, and then they swapped around. It was like really scrappy and everything until literally they both got through the massive glitch at the end, like neck and neck. They got to the very last mission, which is basically an auto-scroller because it's on a timer. Anti was like 12 seconds ahead into the final mission. There's no way to save time except a risky strat, which has a very high likelihood of just killing you, which saves 8 seconds, which Marushko did. But we were like, oh, it's not enough. He'll only save 8 seconds. He needs 12. But then, at the very end, the last boss, as Anti shoots him, Sunny can dive out of the way, and it wastes a few seconds because of it, because it's just a random AI thing. Right. He just jumps out of the way. So it happened to Anti. He lost a few seconds killing him, and they literally finished, I kid you not, within milliseconds of each other.
No way.
It was nuts. I was screaming my head off. We had to literally open the video file and count the frames that they were away from each other, and they were like literally 3 frames apart towards the end. It was an absolutely insane race. So yeah, I really recommend watching both of the races. It's like 2 hours, and the grand finals, like the grand finals. Anti is 2-0 up. But the grand finals, the final day of the finals, or whatever you would call it, is happening literally right now. I'm 6 minutes late to it. I need to go commentate it.
Yeah.
Okay.
So if you want to watch the final bit of this, GTA Marathon, I guess raid the channel at the end or whatever. They're setting up for the race right now. So yeah, I'm gonna go commentate that. Hopefully it'll be as close as the first 2 races were. Hopefully Marushko wins 2.
Yeah, and then it goes to a decider. That would be good.
Yeah, actual best of 5 would be crazy. But if Anti wins by like a 6 frame window, like, or whatever I said because of that, like, oh my god,
that's
that
mad.
second race. Yeah, crazy. It's over an hour to be that close after they both had completely different mistakes at the start.
It's amazing how that happens in racing, whether it's speedrunning or like we've had those multi-class endurance championship races, and the top 2 in GT1 class will finish like neck and neck, side by side. And it's like, and they've raced an hour and a half. They've done countless inputs and mistakes during that time, and they're still that close. That's the beauty of racing, isn't it?
Yeah. Yeah,
all right. Well, cool. You go do that, I suppose.
Okay.
Thanks everybody for watching another episode. We'll be back with the next episode in a month, and we'll actually have a month's worth of stuff to talk about then. So, yeah, thank you all for watching. Will you be in your new place? Yeah. Okay. Yeah, that'd be good. Okay. Thanks for watching, everybody. And we'll do you want to say goodbye, guys?
Yep. Bye.
Goodbye, guys.
I'm going to disconnect now. Okay. Bye.
All right. See you later.
Bye.
Bye.